Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I have got a good one here for you today. So I was on X and I've seen yet again another interview with King Solomon with Genfinity. And the hits just keep on coming. I said this before. They're really on a winning streak right now with these interviews. Really great guests that they're getting on, really great companies, and they're all going to be bringing value to Hedera. And this one, I think long term, could really be something that does great for HBAR. And I'll explain why as we go a little bit further into this. So we have here Goldie Hart, and she's the artist advisor for a company called Seiki, which is Siki. And Seiki is basically a music website for artists, okay? And I thought this was really interesting because what they're doing, they're definitely trying to revolutionize the music industry, which she actually says, which I agree. And I think this is more than overdue because just like the financial system, the way that the music industry works, it's really not great for artists. If anybody knows how the music industry works, it's really not in favor of artists, to be honest. It's really difficult for artists to really get money in the music industry. And with the whole streaming era that's coming now, it's even harder because at least before when you had physical sales, people was paying with money, right? But now because they're paying really with just their attention, right? They listen to the music and that counts as a sale. But then it comes down to the question that causes the problem. How much does one stream equate to? And that's what a lot of the issues that artists have with record labels in terms of how are their sales actually calculated, right? Like who determines what a stream is worth? And that's one of the big issues. And so we've got this company here with Goldie Hart, and she's actually an artist herself. And I think that's a good thing. And the reason why I say that is because when you've got an artist who's actually within the company, she knows what it means to be an artist, right? And so she's going to work in favor of knowing how it feels to be an artist trying to get out there. And so she's going to have the heart of an artist and the mind of an artist when trying to help build this company. So I think that's a real big thing. Now, let me tell you why I think this could be big for Hedera. Well, let's just think about music in general, right? Music is one of the biggest types of entertainment out there, right? And so if this really does take off, if you can imagine how many people would be using this platform and then also using Hedera, the utility aspect of it, it could be absolutely incredible. If you just think of Spotify, right? When Spotify first came out, it was an underground company. They worked their way through and now they're a huge corporation. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about here. I'm not saying that they're going to be the next Spotify, but if they can get up there and really build up a name for themselves, if you can think of how many people will be listening on their platform and how much value that could bring to Hedera, of course that's going to be amazing. So let me just tell you how this works. This is more in terms of paying artists and stuff like that. If they want to tip artists and things like that, they can do so with various methods, crypto being one of them. And it would seem that the methods in terms of utilizing to pay with crypto will go via the Hedera hashgraph, right? So of course that's going to add value through utility. So let's get into the interview then. It's quite a short interview, but there is a lot said here and there's a lot to get out of this. So the first thing she mentions, as I've just already said, we're in the streaming era, which she said, it's not going away, which I agree. This is the new normal now at this point. I think it's going to take a very long time for this to change again, if ever, because we're in a digital age. So I think this is just the way it's going to work at this point. But the problem that she has is that it's not in favor of the artists, which I agree. And I'm not necessarily saying it has to be just in favor of the artists and not in favor of the record labels, but there's a very big difference here. It's very lopsided, right? It's very unfair to artists. There's no 50-50 balance here. It's very much in favor of the record labels. So think of the record labels from a finance perspective in terms of the legacy financial system, right? That's what the record labels are, the legacy system. Right. And so with this company, she's basically trying to change the way this works. And so she wants to try with this company to give more tools to help artists to monetize. Right. And one example that they're actually saying is that they're actually monitoring live streams right? So if you have a live stream and you're playing music through the live stream, through Seiki, it will actually say, oh, okay, we've picked up a live stream here, which has, this song playing in the background. Okay, cool. So let's give that person their royalty due to that song being played, right? So the artist can get paid even through live streams, which that is big, because I know with live streaming, that's not really calculated by companies. Like, people can just have music in the background and, companies are not going out of their way to try and find that information. Or if they say they are, like, how in depth are they actually going, right? So that's definitely a great start there for artists. She also said, and I found this really, really interesting. I was actually quite surprised about this, but I'll explain why in a moment. She's actually said that within the site, there's actually a studio where you can actually create your own playlist, and you as a curator can actually get paid as well as the artist. So to give that a real simple explanation is, let's just say you go on the site as a member and you just create a playlist of music. If people really like that playlist and they're using that playlist, you actually get paid as the creator of that playlist, as well as the artist whose music is being played through the playlist, right? So if you make a playlist, for example, just to give some real rough examples here, and it's got like Taylor Swift on, Drake, all these big artists, and loads of people are listening to it, you actually get paid as the creator of that playlist, as well as the artist getting paid. And I thought that was really interesting, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know any company that would do that. Like, she actually said about Spotify here, she gave them as an example. She said, like, you could have a profile on Spotify because you've done some amazing playlists and have like millions of followers, but they don't care. Like, they're not going to pay you. Now, I'll be completely honest in that sense. I do kind of get that, because with a playlist, you're just basically putting together other people's music. So you don't own the music. It's not anything that you've created. So to just be completely fair, I do understand that, but I'm not going to complain here if they're making this a viable option for people to try and make money through music and being a curator. I think that's actually great, because, for example, if you're a DJ, right, you could do a DJ mix and then put it through the site, and people could be listening to that, and it could be your DJ set, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, this is a real great mix, and they could like you as a DJ. Well, you're getting paid now as a DJ as well. So I really think that's a great thing. I'm just surprised because I've never heard of that before, but that's why I think it's great. Like, that's a huge new avenue for other people to start making money. And so when I think about stuff like this, I think they're probably going to do well in the future, because if you're giving people these kind of avenues to make money, there's not other companies out there that are doing that, right? So of course people would want to get involved. Like, if you think of someone who's a real music lover, and they really enjoy music, and they think, oh, okay, if I can create this amazing playlist that everybody wants to listen to, I can actually make money myself. I can actually become someone who just curates music, or it could help me to boost up my DJ career, and I'm actually getting paid on the side for doing mixes and stuff like that. Like, that's great, right? That's a huge avenue for artists. And so I think that's going to attract a lot of people to them. I think that will get a lot of people wanting to get involved with them, if that's the kind of opportunity they can get from being with their company. So I think that's a huge thing personally. Then she just mentioned how it's going to be very like gamified in terms of how it works. So she was saying that, you can tip artists, or you can help them rank up. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly what rank up means. I don't know if it's a thing of like, if you tip artists so much, then they then get a certain ranking on their website. So maybe they're the top one streamed artist, or then you're the top one tipped artist, or something like that. Like, maybe they have little like charts in terms of how artists are doing and that kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely sounds interesting. Tipping artists, obviously that's great if you really support them, because with indie artists, like, I think that's something that they would really appreciate. Like, if you're an up and coming artist, you're not signed to like a major label or anything like that. You're just making music and putting it out there for people to listen. But if you've got fans who really appreciate you and they can tip you, obviously that's amazing, right? And it's going to make them feel appreciated. So that's a great avenue. And yeah, I think that's another thing that's going to make people want to go to this company. Like, I think they're going to want to be on here because it's allowing them another potential way to monetize their music, right? So of course that's going to be great for them, because I don't believe there's any kind of tipping feature on like Spotify. I don't think there's anything like that on those kind of apps or anything. So again, it's another option for them to use. So when I do think about this, it does sound very much like the Galaxy app, right? Where it's like a creators app where you can interact with your fans and stuff like that, kind of like a new X/Twitter, you know, that kind of thing for creators. It sounds very much like that, but in music format to me. And I think these are the kind of things where in the future, yes, they're not that well known right now, but this is their job to build up their profile, right? Like in the next 5-10 years, who knows where these companies could be? Like that company could be huge, and who knows, they might get big artists to come to their profile, right? Because they might be like, oh well, I can put my music on here, it's another avenue for me to get paid. They're actually checking my music being live streamed as well, so I get paid in that way. And also people can just tip me money now. So, you know, like you might get people like Drake and people like that who will just put their music on there as just a new avenue to monetize their music, right? So to me, this really makes sense. I think that's real great. She also mentioned that there's going to be like live chats and stuff like that. So again, very community driven. So, you know, if you think about it like YouTube and stuff like that, when you do live streaming and things like that to connect with your audience and that kind of stuff, very audience orientated, which is good because that's what you want to do if you're trying to build up a fan base. You want to be able to connect with them on a regular basis. So everything I'm seeing here sounds good. And the other thing she said was about like physical events. They're saying that again, they want to try and help artists to monetize themselves as much as possible. So if that means they're going to start trying to throw their own like events and festivals and stuff like that with their artists on the website, then they're willing to do that to try and help open more doors. Again, that's great. Yeah. One of the struggles that a lot of artists have when they're up and coming is trying to get venues, trying to get performances, shows and stuff like that, because they're not that well known, right? But if you've got like a festival, well, that's their chance to try and get their music out there, right? If they're on the bill. So this is just another avenue for them to try and build up their fan base. Real good stuff here, man. Real good stuff. And again, as I say, if they're utilizing crypto to make payment services and stuff like that, or if they do the app built on Hedera, that kind of thing, of course, that's going to be absolutely amazing for HBAR long term if this really takes off. So I think this is amazing. I really do. Just to finish off, Goldie Hart just mentioned about like music being like the original Web 3.0, which I completely understand, because she's basically saying like, you know, with music, it's one of those things where people just unite, people just connect through music. And, you know, generally you're not asking like, who are you? Like, what's your political views? What's your religious views? You're both there because you enjoy music. You want to have a good time. You're not really asking many questions like that. You just want to enjoy yourself and enjoy the music, right? Enjoy the vibe. And so when she says that, I thought, yeah, I completely understand what she's saying there. That's very relevant. And overall, the website is there to check it out. So if you do want to check it out, it's siki.io. For me, I think for artists, this is great, to be honest. I think this is going to be a huge thing for them. I can't see why people wouldn't want to go on that website overall, to be honest. I think the main thing is just trying to build up their profile, because that's what it is with any company. You've got to try and start getting yourself out there and building up the brand. But when you think about the things that you can do and the way that you can get paid, they're offering you solutions that a lot of the big companies won't provide you. Like Spotify are not giving you this kind of stuff. Apple Music is not giving you that kind of stuff. So to me, I think it sounds like they have definitely a chance to come up in the market because they have a bit of a niche, right? So I really think that this will do well for them. And I hope it does, because if it does well for them, it's going to do well for Hedera and HBAR, right? So it's a win-win either way. But overall, I thought this was a great interview. If you want to check it out, HBAR Foundation have reposted the link. I think it might be on Genfinity's Twitter as well, but I'm not sure what their profile is. So if you want to go on the HBAR Foundation's Twitter profile, you'll be able to see it on there. And feel free to have a look. It's a short interview, but again, it's a good listen, and it shows you as well where this crypto technology can take people, what it can provide, which I think is great. So overall, I thought this was a good, interesting interview. And as I say, if this goes where they think they can take it, like if they can get like the big names coming to them as well, I think it's going to be massive, because that's when you're talking about like mass adoption, because that's going to bring the other crowds. So music is so big. If you get some big names coming over, then of course they're going to follow, right? The audience is going to follow them. So they're all fans and supporters of the artist. If they say, yeah, check me out on Seiki, you know, go subscribe or whatever, go sign up, then yeah, that's it. That's all it's going to take, right? So we'll see how this goes, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. But what do you guys think? Goldie Hart talking about Seiki. Do you think this sounds like a good thing? Are you an artist yourself? Is this something that you would potentially be willing to use? Do you think this could be good for HBAR's price? Or do you not agree with this? Is there anything that you heard here that you don't like? Is there something here that maybe puts you off the idea of this company? Or do you just not think this will be good for HBAR's price overall? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.